I solved it. I did it. I solved the NBA. I've deciphered the script. I know who's going to win the NBA Finals, is what I would say if I were trying to trick you. Listen, if anyone tells you they know how the NBA postseason is going to shake out, then they are lying to you. Nostradamus himself could not decipher these tea leaves. Primus Cleo could not divine who is going to the NBA Finals. Paul Atreides himself don't even know who's going to advance past the first round. The NBA playoffs are a mystery, and that's because other than the very top of the playoff picture, all the teams in the hunt are pretty much on the same level. Teams in the play-in tournament have a realistic chance of making a deep playoff run. Babyface squads are chomping at the bit, ready to upset the old heads. The old heads are mustering the last bit of their strength, getting ready to take one last shot at a championship. And the favorites are sharpening their knives, ready to defend their title. This is going to be an exciting and unpredictable time. That's not why you're here, though. You don't come to the sweatshop for, oh, I don't know, woe is me, this will be fun, though. No. You come to the sweatshop for divination, for prophecy. You come to the sweatshop because you want to know how these playoffs are going to turn out, and we are the only ones that can tell you. Or you just like listening to me acting ass. Well, either way, I promise you will not be disappointed. If you enjoy this content, like this video, smash that subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of the NBA playoffs, and it would mean the world to us if you joined us on our journey. Comment down below the team you got going to the NBA Finals out of the East, and welcome to the Sweatshop's Guide to the Eastern Conference Playoffs. The Lucy, L-O-O-S-I-E tier is only inhabited by the Chicago Bulls because they are the only team in the Eastern Conference that I see no path for. They are free smoke. They are on that proverbial pack watch. Doctor Strange has gone through all 14,605 outcomes and cannot find a single future where Chicago is hoisting the Larry O'Brien. It's just not happening, and we all know it. Of all the teams in the playoff race, they are the most blah. 19th ranked offense and defense, second best players out with injury. Two of their current three best players are young guys with basically no playoff experience. Their go-to guy is at best a fringe second option on an actual contender, and when watching them, they just feel like a first round sweep, specifically on defense. The amount of times they were late on rotations or out of position on drives just shows me that whether it's coaching or personnel, this is not a team that has any chance. Now, if they somehow come out of the play-in tournament as the 8th seed and they go up against Boston, maybe their double big lineup with Vooch and Drummond could strike the smallest hint of fear in the Boston Celtics. But if I'm talking about Andre Drummond and the year of our Lord 2024 being the deciding factor for your team having a puncher's chance to win a single game in the playoffs, then you should already be planning for the offseason. Your tampering period is starting right now. Hey Drew, you play defense like you're from the West Side already. You ever thought about being a first option? So you're telling me there's a chance tier. Listen, the Hawks are not good. They are the true blue 10th seed. They have earned their 44% win percentage mainly off the back of their terrible defense. Despite theoretically having pretty good defensive personnel outside of Maestre, Quinn Snyder got them boys playing as inspired as a Carolina Panthers O-lineman. Their defensive effort and rotations are lacking to say the least. With that being said though, they are still one smidgen ahead of the Bulls because I can at least see the smallest potential for something to happen. Call me Tanjiro, I smell an opening. Part of the Atlanta Hawks' woes is that they have been dealing with significant injuries all year, but they should have everyone back for the playoff run. We've also seen this Hawks team take a couple games off the Celtics just last year. They split the season series with them this year, and we know it is possible for a Trae Young-led team to make the conference finals if Trae catches a little hot streak. Again though, their only path to advance in the playoffs is for everyone to come back healthy, win 2 games in the play-in tournament, and then beat the most winningest team in the league in the first round, with their best players only having a few games to get reacclimated to each other, and Trae Young having to have the best 9-game stretch of his life, with 7 of those being against the team with maybe the 2 best guard defenders in the league. Yeah, even though there's a chance, it's a Cowboys Super Bowl chance. You know they're not making it. The only question is, where are they losing? Probably the first game. Ooh, shots fired. Next tier, the future 1st and 2nd seed of the Eastern Conference. And I mean that. I fully believe, barring a drastic free agency move, the Indiana Pacers and Orlando Magic will be the new kings of the East as soon as next season. Their trend arrow is locked upwards. The Orlando Magic are led by one of, if not the best young duo in the league, probably the young duo with the highest collective basketball IQ. Having two people that can see the court like Franz and Paolo and also make shots at a pretty high level is a problem that the rest of the league is going to have to deal with for the next decade. They also have a defense that I would probably call the most versatile, second at worst, with an almost embarrassing amount of elite big defenders, like a why do you need this many level of good young defenders. The Indiana Pacers, on the other hand, have displayed offensive firepower, the likes of which we've almost never seen, led by one of the most electrifying players in the league and bolstered by the mid-season acquisition of Pascal Siakam. Both these teams are set up to have a dominant 2025. Asking them to be in the NBA Finals in 2024, though, I think even they'd say that's a bit premature. Now, do not get me wrong, these teams will both be very tough outs, and if they end up being party poopers for one of the higher seeds who are expecting to go on a deep playoff run, I would not be surprised one bit. I genuinely contemplated moving both these teams up a tier. The reasons I did not, though, is because both organizations have some fatal flaws. They're not there quite yet. First, they are both young. The Magic more than the Pacers, but the Pacers' main guy hasn't seen any playoff minutes as well. This may be an eye-roll cop-out answer to all you Indiana, Orlando fans, but it's true. In our sport, you usually go on one solid playoff run before you break into that true contender category. If that answer is kind of buns for you though, don't worry, I got some more concrete critiques specific to each of you. The Magic, your offense is too herky-jerky, no Johnny Sins. They have too many dry spells, no Bruce Banner, for me to trust them to beat another team 4 times. The Pacers, your defense is too porous. Need to put on that cold cloth after you shower to close those babies up, my boy. We've been talking about this all year. To most, this is not a surprise. I will say that porous defense has improved a little bit since the Siakam trade, but I still wouldn't quite call them good just yet. On top of that, they've lost an important starter in Benedict Mathurin for the season, and Tyrese Halliburton hasn't looked right since he got that hamstring injury in January. If he isn't at his A+ game like he was in the in-season tournament, I don't see how this Pacers team can make a deep playoff run. Their entire offense rests squarely on this man's shoulders. Now, I would like to reiterate, both these teams have had excellent regular seasons. The Magic's future looks promising for the first time since the days of Superman Light, and the Pacers appear to have their next franchise player. It is just a bit early, for me at least, to bet on them to advance around. Hear me when I say this though, this is not no Mickey Mouse first round matchup. Cavs, Knicks, Bucks, whoever ends up facing these teams, take them seriously. Try to sun them and treat them like a first round bye, and you will be going home sooner than you expected. Next tier. Maybe this is the year? Philadelphia, I want to like you. Joel Embiid is one of the funniest dudes in the league and putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers, literally, minus the insane body count. Who can hate on Tyrese Maxey? Nick Nurse is one of my favorite coaches in the league. The Philadelphia sports fan base is hysterical. I want to like you guys. But then I look at Joel Embiid's playoff games missed and I get a little gun shy. I look at the performances he puts on tape when he doesn't miss the game, and I start studying up on proper Heimlich procedure. And then as the small cherry on top of the paranoia cake, we've seen Tyrese perform well in the playoffs before, but we have not seen him as the primary ball handler quite yet. Not saying that he's going to choke, I'm just saying it's an unknown. Cleveland Cavaliers, I want to like you guys. A top 5 defense, maybe the best defensive front court in the NBA, combined with 2 of the most dynamic shot creators our sport has to offer. I want to like you guys. I was on the bandwagon just last year. I thought you were going to rock New York. And then you get gentlemen swept and look like you aren't built for the playoffs. And then I remembered how small players almost never lead a team to a championship, so what should I think about a team led by 2 small players? And then I saw D-Mitch's playoff numbers for the last 2 seasons and get even more scared. Now, both these teams have significant upside. This is the only reason I have them ahead of the Pacers and Magic. They both passed the confetti test. When I close my eyes, I can imagine both of them having a real shot to win the Eastern Conference Finals. On top of that, they have both theoretically improved on what I think were the main issues holding them back just last season. Nick Nurse is a significant coaching upgrade on Doc Rivers, and Tyrese Maxey, even if he's not as good in the playoffs as a second option as he was in the regular season, he will still probably be better and more consistent than Gentleman's Club James, hard on Harden. On top of that, if Philly gets a healthy regular season Joel Embiid in the playoffs, then the sky is really the limit for them. Even though the Cavs lost in kind of humiliating fashion last year, I think the main thing that was holding them back was a severe lack of spacing. A lot of the time, the Knicks would leave Cleveland role players completely, but booty naked wide open and focused their entire defense on slowing down Donovan. Now Cleveland has Okoro, who has significantly improved the shooting. They signed Max Strus, Marcus Morris, Georges Niang. They're giving more minutes to Sam Merrill and Dean Wade. This year they should hopefully have significantly more spacing going into the playoffs to go along with the same level of defense they had last season. Maybe with this newfound support we see the return of Bubble D Mitch. That's the issue with both of these teams though. It's a lot of maybes, and I'm a once bitten twice shy type of fan. Maybe Joel Embiid has a good healthy playoff run for the first time in his career. Maybe Tyrese Maxey is as good as we all think he is. Maybe the Cavs shooting additions are enough to overcome the lack of spacing in their front court that proved to be an issue for them last year. Maybe these additions were all D Mitch needed to return to his 2021 form. Maybe. It's just too much. I recognize I may be buying low on both of these teams, especially the Cavs, but I just can't bring myself to putting them higher, especially over organizations that have all proven to be real playoff teams in years past and have significantly improved this season. Right now, these guys both just feel to me personally like playoff disappointers. All I need is one run though. Prove me wrong. Next tier. Before we get to it, please like and subscribe. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers and it would mean the world to us if you joined us. But next tier, Eastern Conference Finals runner-ups. These next three teams are the three most likely Eastern Conference Finals runner-ups in my opinion. I've thought about putting each one of them as the top seed at one point in the season, but none of them could fully sell me on being the top seed for one reason or another. New York, I gotta apologize to y'all. I doubted you from the beginning of the season and you have forced me to do a full 180. I really like this team. From top to bottom, I really like this team. They should be called the kennel because they're just full of dogs. Mitchell Robinson goes down, just throw in Isaiah Hartenstein who will fill the role beautifully. Deuce McBride is a perfect rotational PG. Dante DiVincenzo plays hard on both ends of the court. Everyone says the quintessential 2K creator player is Wemby. Tom Thibodeau's is Joshua Hart, logging triple doubles in 48 minutes played. Hey Josh, you need a sub? Coach, I ain't even tired yet. OG Anunoby, one of the best 3-and-D players in the league, and then one Jalen Brunson, who I especially need to give an apology to. I am sorry, sir. I was not familiar with your game. I said he was the 23rd best player in the league at the beginning of the year. I said he was one of the best pure second options in the league a quarter of the way through the season, but I was severely underrating him. This man is a killer. Jalen Brunson is the personification of a bulldog point guard. Elite 3-level scorer. And let me say it again just to emphasize. Elite 3-level scorer, good playmaker, competes on defense, and is a playoff riser. And honestly, I usually shy away from teams led by a small point guard because they almost never win a championship, but Jalen has a physicality, girth, pause, and bulkiness that has me wondering if he may be an exception. I love the Knicks. Their roster has a unified identity, they have that playoff grit, they went on a nice little run just last season, but they have one issue, 2 words, Julius Randle. So I recorded this part before Julius Randle was confirmed to be out for the rest of the season. I originally said that you can't really trust Julius Randle to be your second option just basing it off of his playoff performances in the couple years past. But now that he's fully out, I'm kind of even more worried. Now, the Knicks don't really have a reliable second option at all because Julius Randle was their only hope and now he's out. So maybe the Knicks should slide down a little bit more, but I don't know. Miami, I've already made a video about them. Hate on me if you must. I'm not betting against Miami anymore. I'm sorry. They do this garbage every year. Trick everyone into thinking they are first round exits and then use the doubt to feed Heat culture. Ooh, no one believes in us. Ooh, we're the underdogs. Blah, blah, blah. Guess what, Heat? You can't do that now because I believe in you. Yeah, you heard me. You can't trick me. I see right through your nonsense. I won't have them number 1 just because of the talent on the number 1 team, but still, if you're saying the Heat don't have a shot at making it back to the NBA Finals just because they are the 8th seed, then you're fooling yourself. The Bucks. Oh, the Bucks. I chose you to win the East at the beginning of the year. I stuck with you throughout the highs and lows of Adrian Griffin. When you fired him and hired the worst good coach of all time, the best terrible coach of all time, the biggest choker in NBA history, I held out hope. I fought my head and went with my heart. I trusted my gut, and I am still doing that to some degree. But following a disappointing, by your standards, regular season, I can't in good conscience have you at the top of the East, or ahead of the Knicks who've looked strong all year, or the Heat who eliminated you from the playoffs just last season. The Bucks have all the tools to be the best team in the conference. Top 2 player in the league who's having the best offensive season of his career. Solid championship-proven supporting cast. Added Dame time. This team should be good. This team should be elite. This team should be the favorites. But between their collapse last year, their weird vibes, their subpar defense, Dame not looking fully comfortable next to Giannis just yet, and Doc motherfucking Rivers, they got more red flags than Christopher Brown. I'll keep them in this tier just out of respect to Giannis and the potential of him and Dame setting fire to the rest of the NBA in the playoffs, but I cannot in my right mind put them at the top of the East, especially when the team I have at the top of the East has had a Metro Boomin 2023 type of year. And that's, as I'm sure you all guessed, the Boston Celtics. Okay? This is it. Most talented starting lineup in the league. Solid depth. Top 3 offense and defense. Most wins by a wide margin. Top 5 point differential of all time. Top 10 player. Top 22nd best player. Best defensive backcourt, and a conference that is a tad bit suspect. If Boston cannot win with this stacked ass team, then we gotta bring Joe Mazzulla and, more importantly, Jason Tatum's value into question. Hell, I already feel weird trusting these two as is. Them being up this high is just a testament to the talent and fit of the Celtics supporting cast. Big ups to Brad Stevens. I will admit I've seen a lot of improvement from Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown all year. It feels to me that their feel for the game has gone up another notch, which is evidenced by both of them having the highest assist marks of their career, while also committing the least amount of turnovers since they became All-Stars. Despite this though, I still feel weird trusting them, mainly because I've seen Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum disappoint time and time again in the playoffs. Also, their fourth quarter and clutch stats are horrible, mainly because when the game is on the line, Jason Tatum turns into prime Kobe Bean Bryant, just without the legendary shot-making ability. So it's kinda hard to imagine them pulling out a lot of close games in the playoffs. But still, I don't care. This team is too talented. They have to win. Tatum and Brown, with this new CBA, will never have a better supporting cast around them. For the time being, I'm going to put my Eastern Conference faith in the Boston Celtics based off of sheer stats, talent, and the fact that there isn't really a better option. I do not do this happily though. The vibes most certainly do not coincide with my choice. So that is my tier list. That is the rankings of each NBA playoff team based off of how likely I think they are to win the Eastern Conference Finals. Let us know down below what you agreed with, what you disagreed with, and why. Please be nice. We are fragile. If you enjoy this content, like and subscribe. Comment down below. We're trying to reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of the NBA playoffs, and it would mean the world to us if you joined us on our journey. Comment down below, which I already said. And as always, stay sweaty, ladies and gentlemen.